Hello. Um, Hello, everyone, and I'd like to welcome Ms. Adibah Binti Omar from Malaysia and also Ms. Arpita from India as well for today. And thank you for visiting and sharing your experience about to empower reading to empower nation with us today. Yes, at first, I'd like to invite you to introduce yourself to our audience, both here and also online, a little about you and your works. Uh, Adibah first.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be in Bangkok again. I'm Adibah, the CEO of Book City Corporation, a company fully owned by the Ministry of Education, Malaysia. We have been in the book industry for the past, since 2011. Our goal is to actually continue to strengthen the reading habits among Malaysians and as well as to ensure the book industry of Malaysia continue to thrive. So it's a pleasure to be here together with Prof.
Hi everyone, it's lovely to be in Bangkok again. Thank you, Theera. And it's lovely to also be sitting with Adibah here. I am the founder publisher of an independent publishing house in India called Yoda Press. I'm also the editor of Melbourne University Publishing's South Asia imprint. And I also teach writing at a liberal arts private university in India called Ashoka University. I teach creative writing and critical writing both. So it's lovely to be on a panel where we talk about how reading is an empowering act for people as a writing professor as well as an editor and a publisher. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, Adibah. Thank you, Arpita. And the second question for me is I like to mention about the very good, very impressive program in Malaysia that give all the book voucher to the children to school and how they success in Malaysia. And can you share us about how you make it happen and how it affect the reading in Malaysia?
Okay. So thank you so much, Tira. Ladies and gentlemen in the hall as well as at home. Let me start by saying that it's an honor to be speaking about the program that is happening in Malaysia in front of all of you, educators, policymakers, innovators, storytellers. All of you are championing of something very sacred, that is the power of knowledge. So this particular movement happening in Malaysia is a bold, data-driven strategy of how we turn a single book voucher into a national transformation engine. So, Tira, Prof, recently our leaders in Southeast Asia tightened their hands together during the previous ASEAN summit. Our leaders in Southeast Asia, they have sat down. They have talked about how we should be strengthening regional integration and digital trade through concrete action. So can I have the next slide, please? Okay, is it happening? Yeah, okay. So what happened was our leaders sat down, they talked, they see how we can move forward together, especially in the areas of books and readings. So how about us in the book industry in mirroring our leaders' aspiration? Today, based on what Tira just asked me just now, we at Kota Buku would be answering for pertinent questions which it will be reflected through next. It will be reflected through our my presentation. So, ladies and gentlemen, So when we talk about nurturing a reading nation, it is a very well-known fact, the very fact that many of our students throughout our country, throughout the region, or globally, many of them are overstimulated, undermotivated, and most of all, many are still not having democratization of access to quality, exciting, and competitively priced reading materials. In Malaysia, for example, Prof, for years we've been struggling with access, relevance, and equity. Digital divides, rural isolation, children being at the most rural parts of Borneo, for example, and the rising cost of printing. All these contribute to a reading crisis. So when we go around during our meetup at many international platforms, we realize that not only Malaysia, there are so many other countries are also voicing the same challenge. That is, how do we create new readers in our country and in return at the same time ensure the book industry thrive in the era of digitalization. So ladies and gentlemen, in Malaysia, we know that nations rise when their people read, and the battle for progress begins with literacy. So Kota Buku, as the company fully owned by the government, the Ministry of Education, we come up with the boldest answer to the challenge of creating new readers, which are, can you go back to the previous slide, please? Two answers to answering the challenge. Number one, we know that if we are serious about creating new readers, we must ensure that there is democratization of access of books. Meaning to say, children in the rural area of Borneo, Sabah, Sarawak, Kelantan, Terengganu, Kedah, Perlis, nearing the border of Thailand, they must get the same titles. They must have access to the same titles as the children in Kuala Lumpur. It has not been happening before. And at the same time, if we want to continue to ensure there are new readers in the country, we must continue to create demand to the supply in the industry. So ladies and gentlemen, this is something that we have shared quite a number of times with our friends from Southeast Asia especially. We came up with a solution which is the Badani Book Voucher Program. It's 100% digital, 100% transparent with 0% leakage. We are so extremely happy to share this particular strategy in a sense that in just 215 days, next slide please, 3.57 million students received books with a total allocation of budget, Ringgit Malaysia 286 million in total, or in Thai baht around 2.2 billion. So that's the whole total amount of budget that the government put aside. So in just 215 days, 100% of schools, districts, constituencies, and states were covered. And one of the things that made us very proud is the efficiency of the program, whereby the first redemption was made in just exactly 21 hours, fulfilling the Prime Minister's vision for agile public services. Ladies and gentlemen, those who are listening here and at home, Prof, when we talk about a book voucher program, this one wasn't just a typical aid program. It's not just government give money, student buy, and it stops there. this was actually a digital revolution. What we mean is children has the choice to choose from STEM to literature, religion to technology, 100% on a digital platform, and students choose the books that spoke to them. I was a teacher before. Sometimes we adults, we always feel that we know what kind of books that the children should be reading. Thus, we buy books for them. And at the end of the day, we feel like, why are these children not reading what I'm buying for them? We figure out that, in Malaysia, it's not that the children do not want to read. It's just that they haven't found the book that they love. So through the Madani Book Voucher Program, we, in a way, prepare the moments for the children to fall in love with the books, the kind of book that they choose to get. So ladies and gentlemen, again, we didn't just distribute vouchers. We built real-time dashboards, geodata mapping, and impact measurement tools, as you can see on the screen. During the 215 days, we have a real-time tracking data dashboard, so we know which child has redeemed, which has not, which child buys what book. Are the children in the rural area reading a specific kind of genre compared to the children in the urban areas? So we are extremely happy with that. Next, ladies and gentlemen, that is the strategic objective aspired by the government. How about the monetary objective aspired by the book industry players? This particular Madani Book Voucher Program became an economic lifeline for our book industry. Many of us in the region, including in Thailand, Thailand, Vietnam, Philippines, many other industries are looking at our industry, book industry, very much like a sunset industry, not thriving, especially after COVID. So what happened was, when this particular book voucher program was given a green light by the government, it became definitely an economic lifeline. So ladies and gentlemen, I will come to that point in a short period of time. But now let me show you. Now we have the biggest asset, which is our big data. We know what children are choosing and reading. If we were to look at the stage right now, many of our publishers and booksellers are happy when they see that their books become the top 10 chosen books by 3.5 million children in the country. Next, as what we are saying just now, we democratize access to reading. If you could see next, can you show the slide? Now, this was a video, but it cannot be played. If you could see, actually in the video, we could actually even send parcels and parcels, hundreds and thousands of books to children in the most rural area in Malaysia. Places like this one, that is in Borneo. We even have one school right top right picture. That particular school, the nearest town is 3 hours away. No bookshop, nothing. All this while the children do not have access to quality reading, exciting materials. Now they have, because they can choose the books through our digital platform.
So it's very impressive. Yeah.
The thing is like this, Theerapat, like if you were to ask us like 3-4 years ago, we also did not did not dream that we will be able to achieve this. But thanks to digitalization, we are able to.
Yes,
So,
and I think it's very impressive, and I like where many countries need to do something in similar. And yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sorry to,
Yeah.
to interrupt you,
Yeah.
but we have just quite a
right, right.
long time.
Yeah.
So I need to ask more to Peter, to Professor,
Yeah.
that I need you to share about the teaching of writings and how the publishers in India can empower the readings to people, to students, and to the nation as well. Yeah, please open the.
Thanks. Please don't call me professor. Just call me Arpita. I feel 100 years old because it's what my students call me, but that's fine. Before I start speaking, could we just play the video, the 1 minute long video about my publishing house, Yoda Press? Right. So, being an independent publisher in India, and that too doing books on things like sexuality, on LGBTQ rights, on the environment, on mental health. That's what we are involved in doing right now. But the reason I got very excited, Theera, when you got in touch with me for this panel is because for me, both as a publisher and a professor, I find it's this generation, Gen Z as they like to call themselves, who are our natural readers. And I know that is what the kids call a hot take, because everybody says, oh, nobody's reading anymore. But the fact is the reading has changed. But I don't think children are not reading. Young people are not reading. I mean, all my university students are avid readers. And I think what I loved about Adibah's presentation, and these are the kind of imaginative possibilities that we have to keep talking about now, I think, because I'm a huge lover of books. I've done this now for the last 27 years as in publishing, and I've been teaching for the last 13 years writing. But I don't call myself a book fetishist. You know what that means, right? It's basically, I love the book as an artifact, but I don't just read on paper. And I don't think the act of reading is anything to do with just paper. We know that now. But I think we have to embrace that idea more and more. And I think we have to change our ways of looking at the ways we read, the ways we absorb knowledge or information, and also the way we rest with reading. Because according to me, when we talk about empowering nations, which, by the way, for me, I'm a feminist, empowering nations means empowering people, empowering communities. So for me, rest is as important as work. And I feel that, in our world today, we are finally again talking about rest a little because we are all feeling so burnt out. And we realize again that reading is a radical way of resting. And resting is when our creative juices start flowing. And also, we let go of some of that toxicity, you know, which is leading to, I don't want to talk about politics right now, but you know the state of the world right now. We could do a little less with that.
With the tariff.
Exactly. So I know I've taken it somewhere completely different, Theera, but you know it's connected. And I think one of the most important things that Adibah and I were talking about earlier today was how we in the Asian world need to talk to each other about these things more and need to talk more about how we can converge and collaborate. Because again, I'm a feminist. My world is not complete without collaborations. My work doesn't work with collaborations. I don't believe in competition. I believe in collaboration. And I think these are the sort of communities, the kind of community that Theera has imagined here in this panel, that we need to look at more to see what are the possibilities of empowerment through reading that exist in our region. And the other thing I want to say also, Theera, is that audio. To me, you know, when I think audio books, that's reading. And for my children, my students, and I have a 20-year-old and a 13-year-old at home, my own children, the 20-year-old only reads paper books. The 13-year-old only reads digital books, but they both read all the time, and they both listen to podcasts constantly. And I think the more we think about reading also embracing audio, the more exciting and profitable this whole ecosystem will seem to us. I'm a firm believer in book culture, but now I've started calling it reading culture because, as I said, I'm not going to fetishize books anymore. I'm going to celebrate reading because that, I believe, is going to empower my communities, the communities I believe in, to have a voice. We are, even now, Yoda Press is the only dedicated LGBTQ writings publisher in not just India, but South Asia. I'm talking India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal. And that is a community of audience, readers, that we have built in our lifetime of 21 years. It's not like they didn't exist, but nobody was making books for them. So it is possible to nurture readership during your lifetime as publishers, a new readership, not just fall back on what already exists, but as Adibah was saying, imagining new readers. And that's the work right now. And that's where independent publishing, I think, can do magic. Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much. I think it is how we do right now in our soft power forum, Splash. You can see we have 14 different kind of the creative industry, put it together in one place, and we work together, works with the international partners and also domestic partner in other industry as well. So I like to ask the last question to you two, that how we can do it together between also Malaysia and Thailand, Malaysia, Thailand, and ASEAN, and also with the South Asian nation, and also all around the world, how we can put the reading to empowering our nation together.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, for decades, we have been looking outwards. We have been thinking that we should do greater jobs in ensuring that our books are being well received by readers and book industry markets from other parts of the globe. In reality, collectively in Southeast Asia, there are 670 million population. 670 million, which perhaps 40-50% are school children who are thirsty of quality, exciting reading materials. When we talk about, for example, works from Malaysia, Malaysia is a small country of 35 million population. We are only half of Thailand. Thailand is half of Philippines. Philippines is half of Indonesia. But collectively, when we look at the demand in the region alone is enough to fuel the spark and that initiative to go bigger and together. What we are saying, ladies and gentlemen, there are two tangible strategy that we can push for. Number one, we have already started on ASEAN Rights Fair. Collectively in Southeast Asia, we have something similar like what they have in Bologna or Frankfurt. We are starting small, but it's growing by day. It is highlighting the best title and the best book services available intra the region. That's number one. Number two, if want to join international book fair, for example, we can also start looking at having, for example, a collective stand. Perhaps an ASEAN pavilion that will showcase works, books, illustrators, illustrations from all countries in the region. That way, ladies and gentlemen, number one, we will be increasing our efficiency. Number two, we will be sharing the cost. And number three, at the end of the day, a concerted effort, especially in the area of marketing, getting sure that our works are being heard out there. It will be amplified. Imagine if Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, Brunei, Philippines work together in pushing our works together. The answer and the outcome will be unbelievable.
Thank you a lot.
Yeah, I mean, book fairs, of course, any book festivals, literary festivals, which look at the global south, which prioritize the global south. ASEAN, absolutely. But for me, positioned in India, now I'm beginning to feel over the last 2 years that India is sort of a midpoint that can provide this bridge between the African countries and the Middle East and the rest of the ASEAN region. And I think the way we have over the decades prioritized Frankfurt Book Fair, London Book Fair, Bologna, why aren't we thinking in the same way about the ASEAN Rights Fair? The Sharjah Book Fair, which is really, really thriving. Beijing Book Fair, which just happened. Yeah. Events like this. We have the Chennai Book Fair now, which is really catering to international publishers in India. Also, the New Delhi World Book Fair, which happens every year. I think we need to start prioritizing events in our own global south much more than what we do with Europe and UK. That's one thing. The second thing, for me as a professor of writing, I'd also add translation rights. I think that's a very, very important part of it. We were just discussing one case where we look at, if you want to look at Cambodian children's books rights, you first reach out to French publishers because they would have bought the rights, and then they would have sold it to someone in New York, and I would get hold of that edition, and then I look at it for myself, and it makes no sense because, there's a lot of Hindu mythology in Cambodian children's literature. It should come straight here.
Yes,
we
should
come
do
straight
together here.
to India, yeah.
Here in Thailand or in India or in Malaysia.
Exactly. It
So-
makes no sense,
Yes,
Yeah.
we should do together in our region, start from our region, and we are the very big buyer. Instead, they must come to us.
Yes.
Instead of we go to them.
Absolutely.
So thank you for Adibah and Arpita for today. That you give us the inspiration, and your experience will be very beneficial for us to do something together in the future. Thank you again, and please give the big applause to the
Thank
two
you so
panelists
much.
for today.
Thanks, Thira. Thanks.